everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Sabrina from Sabrina's Books and Crafts, and we are doing a WIP and chat. I didn't have time to continue from my last video. I just did the 20 deep questions tag, and I said I do want to finish this one, but I didn't have time. I still haven't had time to do my nails, so please excuse that there are still tiny bits like this one here on the edge of my glitter nail polish. That was a huge deal to get rid of because it just didn't. I needed like 5 doesn't matter. it was just a nightmare. So I thought about what are we doing now, and I thought I would love to talk about something. I'm not doing a tag, I just checked if I have some tags written on, but there is something that I really wanted to talk about, and I thought it is time to talk about that and maybe start working. That is the sign, right? Not that I put on something wrong. Yeah. I did want to talk about where I did work. I worked at the college or the University of Applied Science in the town that I'm currently living in, and yes, the one I don't like. I mean, the working, this might be another video, but now I really want to talk about something that did happen when I was a student, and I learned when I met other students that came after me, of course, a new semester, new students, that I wasn't wrong, which was told so many times. And so I don't want to or I didn't want to jump. Oh, my voice is breaking, so excuse me. I didn't want to jump on the Me Too train because it didn't felt right, because it was like everywhere was something like that, and I was like, okay, no, this is just the part when people say, oh, of course, now you're telling it. And so no, I didn't want to put this out when Me Too was big, and I didn't want to put my face in front of the camera and talk about it. And people who do know me know what happened and know what was going on. So I do want to talk about this because this university, or how I do call it, school of crap. I'm sorry, but this is just the worst school that I've ever been to. And I think that the people who are called professors there are not really in the right, oh, I missed Bond Damon, job. That's just how I say it. I mean, they are probably nice people, some of them, but I think that they just are not interested in the teaching part of their job. They do like the research and the off time. I mean, you do have a lot of time for yourself when you're a professor. You are like 3 months in summer and 1 month in now in February. So I think many of them do like the money and the free time. And some professors there are, I mean, you do have time. I mean, it's just, yeah. And what they do have, I don't know, not that much teaching hours. And I had some professors that haven't even been professors, but we had to call them professor, doctor, whatever. And then later it came out that they don't even have that title. So that was a little weird, I think. Or I thought that this wasn't right, but okay. I mean, I didn't complain. I called them whatever I liked. I usually went by Mr. and the name, because I don't see that someone who disrespects me has to be put in the sky or on a pedestal because of whatever. So I usually called them by their names. I mean, they did say you. I mean, in Germany we do have two different types of you. We have the formal one, when people don't know, and then we have another word for just the you that friends and family and people we know use, right? And yeah, so they just use the friend thing, even though they shouldn't have, because it is some reason how they do it, because they want to make sure that they are higher. They wanted to have every title that they don't even have or that they didn't even have. They wanted to be called with every title, but they just call you by your first name. And this is like the thing, this on top of you have to be like, oh my god, you're so smart thing. And I didn't jump on that, because I was like, why? I'm sorry, you're a human being, I'm a human being. I know you did study, but I am studying right now, so I do want to get where you are. And right, they didn't care about it. Help me. I mean, but that doesn't even matter. So we had one professor, one person that was a little weird. We have to do a practical semester during our time. That means that in this semester we are working at a company, we're getting to know the working life. And he came new to our he was new and he said that he would love to meet the students, or that is what he wrote in his email to me. He was saying that he's new and that he would love to make an appointment with me, because he likes to get to know, or he would love to get to know all the students of my class, and if there are any improvements, because what I did study was very new. I'm like the first one who did graduate with this, I don't know what's it called, with this major, right? And I thought, oh, that is nice. This is someone who is interested in it, and he's interested in it because we did study this 2 years, like 4 semesters, before you go to your working part or the practical part. You are studying there, and of course there are improvements. I mean, that's just a normal thing when you start something new. And I thought it was nice. And he wrote that he would invite everyone because they were everyone, and we weren't that many. We were about 40. On the fourth semester we were about 40. At the beginning we were, I guess, 65, something like that. So we did lose some people on the way, but it's okay. That's just normal. Or maybe I don't even know if they left because they did want to study something else, or if they left because they didn't pass the exams. I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, some I didn't even knew. So there were some that were on the list and they did never show up. So both happened. And so I was like, there was a professor that he seems nice. He really seems nice. And then I went there, and it was summer. I wore a shirt. I mean, not a short shirt. It was just a t-shirt. Just normal t-shirt, no cleavage showing, no nothing. And when I was sitting at his office, he was constantly staring at my boobs. He was like, really, he was talking with my boobs. He was not paying attention to what I said or what I looked, how on my eyes. He didn't even look me in the eyes. And I was like, okay, what is going on here? I don't like that. And the thing is, he's the one who tells me if I passed or if I don't pass. So if I say something, or that was what on my mind, if I say something, he can let me fail. He's the one who tells, no, this is not enough what she did. So I was sitting there quiet, and when he turned around to, I don't know, get something, whatever, I was like, okay, because I was eating a sandwich before, because I haven't eaten all day. I just know that. And I bought something from a bakery. I just had it to go. And I was like, okay, are there some crumbs or breadcrumbs or what? And I was like running my hands over my cleavage, because I was like, okay, are there breadcrumbs or what is going on? Why is he staring at that? I mean, I don't have huge boobs. It's not that I'm like, oh my god, where do I put them? So I was a little, freaked out, and it was a nice talk. But if he just would have looked me in the eye, so it was nice, and so that was a little weird. And I knew that if I would have said, hey, I have eyes, I would have jeopardized my grade. So I did shut up, or I kept quiet. And I was like, okay, what? I don't know. Maybe he did like my t-shirt or I don't know. Whatever happened. So, okay, sorry, my battery died. Where was I? Breadcrumbs. It was a nice talk, and grades, right? So I didn't say something. I did shut up. I mean, I was like, okay, maybe he's not watching, or maybe he's always looking on my cleavage when I am looking at him. And yeah. Okay, so I just was like, yeah, okay, come on, what are you talking about? And I didn't say something or something like that, because I didn't care. I was like, okay, I don't know what's going on. And then later, then the semester was okay. Of course I was working, so I haven't had anything to do with him. Then the next semester, that was the 6th out of 7. We had him in one subject, and it was so, I just had to laugh because I was remembering, and there was one person, I mean, I really hated this one, and I was sick about 2 weeks, and I didn't went to university because I was just feeling bad. But I mean, it's okay. You just have to work that you have everything, that you know everything, and then it's fine. Nobody really cares. And then when I went back in, he was coming to me. He was like, you know, the when you spread your arms, like the hugging thing. He didn't, but I was like, what is he doing? And then he just shook my hand, and I was like, what? I mean, I was there. It's not that it's like I'm a new student. I had been there. I just was sick. And he came there, and people were like, what is he doing? And they were like, what? And I was so embarrassed. I was so embarrassed. And but I was like, okay, he's just a weird guy. So I don't mind. I don't pay attention. But later on, when I was kind of the student who was working in the class because I always knew when I get the answers right, I know that I have gotten it. I knew that I did understand what it is, or what this thing is about. So I was just working with it, and it was great, and I was okay. Wait, 4, 3, 4. Did I get distracted? And it was okay. So, and then later on, he was really focused on me, and I was like, okay, is this just me, or I don't know. And I was talking with my boyfriend about it, and he was like, why should he do that? I mean, why should he do it? And I said, I told him that this professor, that he is very staring and really focused, and that it does creep me a little bit out. And he was like, why should he do it? And I was like, I don't know. I really don't know. And so I thought, okay, maybe this is just in my mind. Maybe this is just me. Maybe I'm making this up. I don't know. And oh, that was a bad drill. I just have my little bag of bad drills here. So, and when I don't even know when, a little bit later, another student, a student that I did study with, she was, or the other way around. He was teaching, he was asking questions. I said, yeah, okay, I think it's this and this and this, but maybe you can do this and this and this. And he was like, yes, right, and great. And then he came over to my place, and he was like, oh, you learned good, but I knew you can do it, and I know that you're so smart, and that you that it's easy for you to learn that. And I was like, what? I just answered your questions, and I did ask something because I'm not sure. And he was like, yeah, and it's awesome to see how you do this, and that you are working your butt off with that. And I was just sitting there. I mean, I was sitting in the middle of a class. Like, there were other students around me. and I was just smiling there and nodding like, okay, thank you. Please leave, please go. I don't know how to handle you right now. And then the female student that was sitting next to me, she was like, oh, where do you know each other from? Because he's so focused on you. It's like you're good friends, or that you're best friends. And I'm like, I don't know him, but I thought it's just in my mind. But when you say that he's doing this, I do believe it, because I wasn't sure if it's just me. And she was like, yeah, everybody noticed this one, that he's so focused on you. And so I had no idea what to do. And he is getting too close. And every time then we had him, I mean, this was the theory part, and we had a practical part. We had some part where we learned how to use a software and why it works, how it works, and why you should use it, or why it is good to use it. And so it was okay. And then there was the practical part when we were sitting on the computer and we were using it, or the software, of course. And then he was always close. He was always circling around my place, and I had no idea why. I had no idea why. And I don't know, but I thought it was very distracting. I thought it was very, very, very distracting because it was too close. It was not, I mean, when I'm working as a teacher right now, I do circle around, of course, because I do teach computer science. And I do let them work with Excel and with Word. So, and I do give them an exercise, and then I do circle around, but I don't stand next to one person and just be focused on this person. I just do look what they do, if they need help, and then I go to the next one. And I think this is how you do it. And I'm not standing there like focused on the person, and not even on the screen or what he or she is doing. I do look. No, did I say it wrong? I don't know. I'm not focused on the person. I'm focused on what they're doing on the screen. If they do get it right, if they do know how to, I don't know, make an average in Excel or in whatever, right? How to use, I don't know, how to use anything. And this guy, he was, I'm sorry, I was in a talking mood. And this guy, he was just focused on me. He wasn't even looking at the screen. He was just looking at me. And I was like, there is something wrong, or this is wrong. This is not something that I don't know. I don't know what to do, because this guy is giving me a grade, and I do not want to fail because of me saying that he's getting too close. And I mean, the close thing is, when I did ask him something, he was sitting like next to me, like my knee on his knee, or actually his knee on my knee. Like, we were hip to hip. And I think for a professor, that is too close. I'm sorry, that is too close when you don't know each other, or when there is no thing going on. this is too close, you don't do that. And especially when other people or other students can see that and think that you have something going on with your professor. And I told my boyfriend, and because he was working on the college, and I said, hey, do you mind kissing me, like, in front of him? Like, really in front of him? Because I had no idea. I was like, okay, I cannot cope with that. I don't know. And I mean, the good thing was there was 1 hour a week, so I kind of pushed through and I kept quiet. And I mean, afterwards, I think it is stupid to keep quiet, but the thing is, I tell you, there was someone who wasn't quiet, and it is the same thing, or it is the thing that happened that should never happen. And so I pushed through. I didn't care about it anymore. I was like, okay, when he's not touching me, when there's knee on knee, okay, you know what? I don't care. Whatever. When he feels good, I'm fine. I'm okay. But if he would come too close, I wouldn't even contact the principal or the boss of the professors. I have no idea how it is called in English. I would have called the police and not the principal. I would have said, okay, you know what, listen, I'm a student. There's a professor, he did touch me. Do something. I would have gone really hard if he would have come too close. I mean, I felt it was too close. And I think because he always looked at my boobs, he always looked at my cleavage, he always tried to be physically close to me. It's not like that when he leaned over to help me to show me something on the screen, or touched my hand when we did have to use the mouse, or that wouldn't even have the thing, but his whole body was too close to me, and I didn't like it. And I always moved. I moved back, I moved to the side, I moved anywhere, and he always kept going. So he's definitely the wrong person, I think, on this college. But let's say, that doesn't matter because this college is crap. So whatever. And I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm sorry if you're a student of this college or on this college, and if you like it, that is awesome. My personal opinion or my experience was, it was a nightmare. It was more stupid people than clever people, and the stupid sides was on the professors. Now, we students, we really tried. We tried hard. We wanted to study. We wanted to do everything. We wanted to learn. And the professors were like, let me think about it. I don't know. So I think that wasn't a smart decision. Some professors were just there to have the good money. But okay, not talking about the money part. And then I did graduate. I didn't care. I mean, this guy is on my certificate of my graduation thing. Yeah, I don't like it, but okay. What should I do about it? I mean, I don't care. There it stands, Bachelor of Engineering, so, and my name, and I don't care who did sign it. And then later on, I met with some students who did study or do study the same major or the same thing that I do. I did graduate. And there was a girl, or a woman, probably, she was 20 plus something, and like I do, or like I was. Damn it, today is not my day. And we were talking very nice, what professors we did have, if the exams, what they usually did ask, and I talked about her, I talked about the exams and if they were pretty hard or they were just learn it by heart and forget it afterwards, and so I had that too. And then she was like, hey, did you have the professor blah 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 as well? And I was like, yeah, I did, but I rather wouldn't have had him. And she was like, hey, was he too close too? And I was like, yeah, he was like sitting on my lap. And she was, yes, it was the same thing with her like it was for me. And she was like, and I went to the principal and told him that he is a good professor, but he's coming too close and she doesn't like it and she doesn't know what to do or how to handle that. And the thing is that I knew that there wouldn't be something good coming out of the story. She was like, and you know what, the principal just said, I don't think so, shut up and leave. And she wasn't happy. I mean, the principal is the one who should keep an eye on that everything is okay and that the students are alright, but this principal was just like, oh, I don't think so, so why are you telling me something like that? This guy has a family, this guy has a wife and a kid and or two, or I don't know, and why are you talking about that? Or why are you saying something like that? He cannot imagine that he would do anything like that. And I was like, you know what? This is the exact thing that I was afraid of, that they do, or that they don't do. And I would, and you know what? Right now, oh, there did something happen. And you know what? We had no idea what to do because she asked me if I knew something that they could do or she could do, and I was like, I don't know. I mean, when the principal doesn't react, there is no chance that you can do something. I mean, honestly, police here is kind of the same. They are like, oh, you can't prove it, then it didn't happen. And I was like, yeah, well, but I mean, you cannot wait on it until it's too late. You have to react now before something happens, because this guy, I mean, honestly, I'm not a totally much afraid person of people. I mean, I think some do look a little creepy. Sorry, I have to make a shadow to stop the reflection there. And I was like, yeah, but I mean, there are people. I think it's not just the two of us. There were a few. And I think he's just getting through with that. And he can stare. I mean, this guy, I'm so sorry, but I don't know another word. He's like a normal person with a wife and kids and nice and everything is okay. And as soon as the person he is focused on comes into the room, his eyes or his, not behavior, his eyes go from normal to effing creepy stalker eyes. I was like, what is happening here, because I have seen it. I mean, I've seen it. I know I did come late a little bit once in a while, and or when we had an appointment with another professor. Professors do of course have appointments when you usually do have another class, so you have to go to the appointment, rush over campus, and rush into your class. And we had classes where there are glass parts and then there's the door, so you can look inside. And so I have seen how he taught. I've seen him because of course you always look inside if the professor is already in, or if there's a possibility that you just rush in and nobody sees you or something like that. And I did look, and he was looking very normal. And in my place when I walked in, he was from normal to, I'm sorry, fucking creepy. His eyes turned, and that was the moment when it scared the shit out of me. I'm so sorry. I cannot say it in another word. That was like 2-3 weeks before the final exams. So I was like, okay, just don't look at him. Look at your piece of paper. Look at your script. Look at anything else, but don't look at him, because he is scary. And I was so happy when I got out. And I knew the thing is that 921. I'm sorry when I always say some numbers in between. I have to concentrate. 921. I was with another student. When I was with another student, we were talking with him about exams and how he is supposed to do the practical part that we did on the computer, how he is planning on asking that. Is that more a click on this, click on that, or is it if he knew already how he would do it? Because we were just curious, because we did want a good grade. And he was standing there, normal. He was looking normal. He was totally okay. Because there was this other one. But when we talked, I was just standing there because I was just curious and I was listening. I didn't even say something. And the other one, she was just asking questions and like, hey, and do you do this, and could you give us a hint, or is there a possibility that we could maybe have this and this and this question? And I mean, that was nice. He really did help. He did really good hints of what was going to be in the exam. But he was I mean, she did the talking, and I was just standing there, and he was just staring at me. So, and I don't know, I'm sorry, I just wanted to talk about that, because I know that I wasn't the only one, especially when this other girl was asking me if something like that happened in my class too. So that was like the point, okay, you know what? He is in the wrong place. He is definitely in the wrong place, because I don't think that he should be around young women. And the principal is honestly a total dork and an idiot and everything else that you want to call him, because he doesn't react to a girl who's saying, there is the professor and he's coming too close to me. And I mean, it's not that he should fire him, but he should just tell him that this is not okay, and when there's something more, or when he hears that again, there has to be a consequence. But our stupid principal is like, oh, I don't think so. Go back to class. What is going on there? I mean, guys, I'm sorry, and I could really talk about this, like, why do you do that thing? Like 2 hours straight, but my camera won't die, right? But I am talking like 26 hours. No, not hours, don't worry. 26 minutes. But I just wanted to have that off my chest. And just to make proof that this college, this University of Applied Science, they should be a little controlled, or that principals should maybe react to something when female students say something like that. So please, people, do that. This is not... It's... But I mean, the weird thing is, when the principal would have said something, he knew who would have told him, because he has always one or two staring objects in, you know, those, you know what I mean, in his class. I mean, you know, those, oh, I'm sorry, I'm talking too much, and so, but I just want to get that off my chest and talk about it, because I don't know, I don't have some words for people who are experiencing something like that, because either way, it doesn't matter. When you say something, you're the bad one. When you don't say something, you're the bad one because you didn't say something. So we are like turning in circles, and it doesn't make sense. And the bad one, the one who is coming too close to women, to people, to students, to whoever, they get away with it. And I think this is not okay, and this is my sentence of the day. I don't want that bad people get away with it. And okay. So next topic will be much more fun, I think. Maybe another tag. And I just wanted to talk about my experience, and I hope that, I mean, nothing bad happened to me, so I was on the lucky side, and the other girl was on the lucky side too. He was just like me, too close, and, yeah. But honestly, I have to say, he was a good professor. He knew what he was talking about, but he was a human piece of, well, I don't want to say that. So you all, I shared my little story about my pretty bad college. Sorry about that, but I loved the major that I did. So I will stop recording and stop talking, and if you do want to have more fun stories from me, from my life, please subscribe. You know, this little subscribe button down there. And you all have a nice day. I will finish this section and maybe start with a new one. I know I haven't done as much as I wanted. And bye bye.